Hey there, it's Paul here, and I'm out here in the pouring snow to talk to you about the 3 things that you need to know as a business owner before you start your podcast. I'm also out here in the cold to go ahead with the family to Starbucks to get some eggnog lattes. So now you drive with me and I'll tell you along the way. Sounds good? Alright, let's roll. Alright, so the first thing that you need to know as a business owner is do not create free level content. What do I mean by that? Of course, you're giving away your podcast for free. But it doesn't mean you should be creating shallow or surface level content. That won't create any value whatsoever. It'll be worthless. I'll tell you what I mean. Let me get an example. So I heard Lewis Howes on his podcast and he was interviewing Bedros Keuilian and they're talking about masterminds. That episode, I remember I was driving in KFC's drive-thru when I heard it. It transformed everything that I thought I knew about my business at the time. It created so much value for me. I would not have been able to get that value had I not listened to that podcast. So when you're thinking about creating your podcast, the first thing you need to know before you start is go all in. Give as much value as you can and do not think about it as giving away something for free. Okay, so the second thing that you need to know before you start as a business owner is to play the long game. This is what I mean. Pay attention carefully. Imagine a snowball rolling down a hill. As it gathers, it grows. As it grows, it becomes an avalanche that will, trust me, do some damage. If you want your podcast to do any damage in the future, you have to start small and have to have the mindset of playing the long game. When you think about all the people who are very popular in podcasting right now, the Lewis Howes, the Tim Ferriss, the Gary V's, they started and they invested everything from the start and they grew over time. They knew that in a matter of time, it would be big. Do not think about getting millions of downloads overnight. Play the long game. Starbucks in hand, and we're about to see a movie, but I wanted to leave you with the final thing you need to know before you start your podcast, and that is forget about the numbers, focus on your customer experience. You don't need to have a podcast with millions of downloads, or even hundreds of thousands of downloads to have a successful podcast, right? So I have this client, very proud of her. She's in a niche where she helps people to get their name out, their brand out into the world. And she has a modest podcast of about 3,000 or so downloads per episode. Well, guess what? Here's the most important thing. She's making 6 figures with her podcast right now. Not hundreds of thousands of downloads, but she's making 6 figures with less than 5,000 downloads per episode. So it's super possible. So just to wrap up, the 3 things that you need to know before you start your podcast. 1, forget about the numbers, focus on your customer experience. 2, play the long game. Don't think it's going to be overnight success. And 3, give real value that things people will pay for. Give it for free on your podcast. All right, and that's it. So if you are a consultant, a coach, or an expert, and you're thinking about launching your podcast sometime soon, and you want my help to do it, leave a comment down below that says interested, and I'll reach out to you with more information. All right, talk soon.